Hello everybody. I'm back with another Super Bowl preview and predictions video, and this one's going to be a real treat. It's the rematch from Super Bowl 54. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to be the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls in 19 years. The last franchise that did that was the New England Patriots, if I remember correctly. The 2003 2004 New England Patriots, who won Super Bowl 38, and then it was against the Carolina Panthers, and the 2004 2005 New England Patriots that went on to Super Bowl 39 and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Super Bowl 40 was the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But anyway, I got Super Bowls 40, 39, and 38 mixed up almost. But anyway, both the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs, they have some familiar faces returning from their last encounter. You have Kyle Shanahan and George Kittle from San Francisco. George Kittle at tight end and Kyle Shanahan as the coach, of course. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, you have the usuals. You have Andy Reid at the head coach position, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back, Travis Kelce at tight end, and Patrick Mahomes Jr. at quarterback. But for the most part, for both teams, 99.9 3/4% of the rosters on both the defensive and the offensive sides of the football have completely changed, aside from a few other players that might still be on their respective teams since Super Bowl 54. I can't remember any of their names right now, but if they're not currently on either the Chiefs or the 49ers, they're either playing for another team, they're on the NFL's free agent block, or they're retired. Like Richard Sherman, for example, he was on the San Francisco 49ers at one point in time. He's still a free agent, but that's neither here or there. But you guys get my point, though. With the San Francisco 49ers, though, they're looking to try and avenge what happened in Super Bowl 54. And they might have a chance in doing it. Even looking at this team on paper, everyone's thinking the San Francisco 49ers have a shot at pulling off the upset and not only avenging what happened in Super Bowl 54, but also knocking off the current Super Bowl champions. They possibly have the tools and the potential to do it, but I don't know. I'll go into my prediction at the end of the video, and along with a couple of other tidbits that I want to go into. But some of the things for the 49ers that I want to get out of the way real quick that I took notes on. The 49ers will try and avoid facing an early deficit for a third straight game when they go up against the Chiefs. Because if you remember correctly, they were able to stage consecutive comebacks against the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Especially in the Detroit Lions game, they erased a 17-point halftime deficit in the NFC Championship game. And at the time when I was watching that game, I looked at the score and I thought, okay, great. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl, which one of my coworkers at my work originally predicted at the start of the season. He was asked his prediction as far as who's going to go to the Super Bowl, and he said, I predict it's going to be the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. He was half right, because Kansas City's going. But anyways, looking at things on the side of Kansas City, they never trailed in 2 of their 3 playoff games, including the AFC Championship game against Baltimore. But speaking of the Chiefs, so at this point, you may as well just come right out and say it. The greatness of the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes Jr. tandem can't be denied. 6 years as a starting quarterback under Andy Reid Patrick Mahomes Jr. is making his 4th Super Bowl start. And I have to give credit where credit is due. And for the Chiefs, despite a season full of offensive plotting and their offensive plotting and petering out occasionally, they're starting to peak, and with their primary threats on the offense with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, Travis Kelce, and even Marquez Valdes-Scantling, for example. They've become consistent weapons in the postseason. Now they're looking to show what they're really made of in the Super Bowl. Excuse me. But I think an issue here with the 49ers, they can match up mostly well with an uber-athletic defensive line. And when you have a linebacker like Fred Warner, for example, patrolling the middle of the field, that's going to pay dividends for you in the end. But the San Francisco secondary has been the weak link in the defense. A key matchup to look for here, from where I sit, would be Kansas City's defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo going up against Kyle Shanahan, what he's got set up. Steve Spagnuolo has become one of the NFL's top big game assistants, and his defense has become the strength of Kansas City for the way he's able to disguise pressures, disguise coverages, and also generate pressure through the middle of the offensive line. But with Kansas City, I think they have more momentum on their side, mainly because of the fact that they're appearing in the Super Bowl for the 4th time in the last 5 years. And as I said before, they're looking to possibly be the first team since the New England Patriots of the 03-04 season and the 04-05 season, respectively, to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And Patrick Mahomes Jr. has quite a resume to add to his career as far as this season, too. His postseason legacy, were altogether, he's completed about 71% of his passes for 11 touchdowns and no interceptions in the last 2 playoff runs. So whether or not you like him, you don't like him, you're indifferent, or you have no opinion whatsoever, you have to give the man credit for that much. As far as the rushing attack, Kansas City's rushing attack stepped up very well over the last couple of games. They averaged 6.5 yards per carry against the Buffalo Bills and about 4.5 or 5 yards per attempt against the Miami Dolphins. But Kansas City allowed more than 24 points in just one game this whole year, while the 49ers have given up an average of 26 points per game this postseason. But while Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes tend to find a way on how to win games in the playoffs, that's one of the many reasons why I could picture Kansas City winning and dashing the dreams and the hopes of the San Francisco 49ers and their fans in terms of winning a Super Bowl rematch. Speaking of Super Bowl rematches, isn't it kind of a rarity that we have Super Bowl rematches? I mean, we had the who was it again? Lost my train of thought. Oh, the New England Patriots and the New York Giants in Super Bowls 46 and 42, if I remember right. Yeah, Super Bowls 46 and 42. The Giants won both of them against the Patriots. Now you got the Chiefs and the 49ers in Super Bowl 54 and now Super Bowl 58. Kind of a bad comparison, but it's kind of like rematches at WrestleMania, for example. Very, very rare. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, for example, from WrestleManias 19, 17, and 15. John Cena and The Rock from WrestleManias 28 and 29. And Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant from WrestleManias 4 and 3. It's as exciting as those matches are, and even though they're rematches, it's very, very rare that they happen. But you guys get my point, though. Hopefully, for those of you who are pro wrestling fans out there, kind of bad comparisons that I made, but it's the best ones I can come up with. But yeah, going back to the 49ers, I was going to say something else. The 49ers have come back in both of their postseason games that they won this year, but they don't want to face constant pressure packages from Steve Spagnuolo. While the Kansas City Chiefs are a far cry from the explosive passing offense that they were a couple of years ago, they don't want the 49ers pass rush teeing off without a check. And speaking of checks, that leads me to Isaiah Pacheco. One of the key players on the offense. I figure him to be the figurative engine, so to say, of a methodical, suffocating victory by the Chiefs. If I had to go on a guess as far as what his stats might be, I figure him for maybe a score or two. A total of about 120 yards, 120 something. And he's going to average anywhere between 22 to 25 carries. The bulk of that workload is going to end up going to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so you can't just have Isaiah Pacheco out there carrying the load for the vast majority of the game. You got to get number 25 out there as well. As far as the Chiefs' defense goes, while their offensive and defensive supporting cast will play an instrumental role tomorrow, you figure Patrick Mahomes Jr. is going to once again work his on-field magic and try and win the franchise their third Lombardi Trophy in 5 years, and further cement his status as one of the NFL's greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't know. That remains to be seen. NFL quarterbacks presently, yes. Come up with a list of top 10, top 15, or top 20 NFL quarterbacks. Number 15's got to be on the list somewhere. But as far as the Chiefs' defense, it contains some key players, especially Chris Jones. Got Jarius Sneed in the backfield. You got all the makings of being able to contain an explosive offense from the 49ers, though. Patrick Mahomes Jr. He makes just enough plays to turn his team into a dynasty, and that's exactly what we might end up seeing tomorrow. And also, Kansas City's got the best tackling secondary in the NFL, so San Francisco's got to be... they have to keep an eye out for that and be extra, extra careful. I could give you some reasons as to why the 49ers are going to probably win, and believe you me, there's a lot of them. I'm sure there's a couple that I'm probably forgetting about, or some key players as to why you should consider them as winners, aside from Nick Bosa, Brock Purdy, and Christian McCaffrey. But there's got to be a little bit more to it than that. But I can't get the lingering thought out of my head that even if San Francisco plays great, Patrick Mahomes Jr. can and probably will end up finding a way to erase a potential San Francisco 49ers lead in the end. Much like what he did the last time that these two met, again back in Super Bowl 54. San Francisco, on the other hand, they've been one of the most impressive teams all season, and even on paper. You look at these guys and you think to yourself, they should be able to win their first Super Bowl for the first time in nearly 20-something years or 30-something years, however long it's been. I don't even remember when the 49ers last won a Super Bowl. It was sometime in the early 90s, if I remember correctly. But anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs defense, however, they've certainly been a ruthless force throughout this entire postseason. While the offense isn't pretty, though, and even if Patrick Mahomes Jr. and Travis Kelce are in sync, they should be able to put together some sort of a game plan, no pun intended, and put some points on the board as well. And as far as the Kansas City Chiefs defense goes, if you're able to limit Brock Purdy and company and become the first back-to-back champion since the New England Patriots that I brought up in from Super Bowls 39 and 38, respectively. Excuse me. You should be in good hands. There should be no reason whatsoever as to why the Chiefs can't win this game. Not a single one. You have all the makings right here. You got key players on defense. You got all the tools on the offense. But then again, this is a different 49ers team than what Kansas City faced in early 2020 and vice versa. But right now, overall, the San Francisco 49ers, they look vulnerable and they look somewhat soft. And the Chiefs look unbreakable on defense. But all of that can change in an instant. And something tells me that it will near the end of the game come Sunday. When, how, why, etc. I don't know. But that all remains to be seen. I'm no psychic or Swami or anything with a magic 8-ball, and I can look into the future and I can say, as far as the Super Bowl, the outcome of Super Bowl 58 is going to be this, that, and the third, and the final score is going to be this, and this because of yada 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 and etc. I'm not that. I can't see that much into the future. But I do see this, though. I see this game being rather close, believe it or not. And with the 49ers pass rush becoming a major factor late in the game, that might be one of the ultimate question marks as well, depending on what the score is by that time. But speaking of questions, will the 49ers pass rush late in the game become a major factor? Will that be enough? What will the score be by the time the game gets ready to come to an end? And also, will Kyle Shanahan be able to shake off what happened in Super Bowl 54, learn from his mistakes, put Super Bowl 54 in the past, finally get himself a ring, and knock off the defending Super Bowl champions? I don't know, but we shall see. A couple of quick predictions I wanted to make here real fast. The final score. Kansas City Chiefs pull off the win, and I predict the score is going to be 27-24. Earlier this week, I got my line for the game, and again, I'm not basing my prediction off of that, but according to the line that I got on Tuesday, I believe it was, either Tuesday or Wednesday, Kansas City Chiefs are a favorite at 2.5 points. You go to 10 different places or ask 10 different people, you'll get 10 different point spreads. One person will say, yeah, I have the Chiefs as favorites at 3, or another person will say, I looked online and it has the Kansas City Chiefs as a favorite at 1.5, or somebody else will say, yeah, the last I read and heard, the San Francisco 49ers are favorites at 1.5, or San Francisco's a favorite at 1. You get my point. You go to 10 different places, you get 10 different point spreads. So it all depends on who you ask. But again, I'm not basing my prediction of the final score and why I think the Chiefs are going to win because of the line that I was given and how many points they're a favorite at. I'm just giving you my overall honest and unbiased analysis on it. Random prediction number 2. Kansas City. Yeah, they won 27-24. That was my first one. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes Jr. throws for fewer than 200 yards in the Super Bowl for the second straight year. If you had to say over or under 200.5 for the total yards that number 15 throws for, I would love to see him throw for more than that, but I think it's going to be less. San Francisco's good enough to cause him to throw for less than 200 yards. Then we'll wait and see. Somehow, in some way, I think he's going to be able to throw for more than that, but I would take the under in that case. In random prediction number 3, Rashee Rice gets himself a touchdown and approximately 140 receiving yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's got to get involved in the game too. I don't know how many yards he's going to be able to gain in this game, but it's going to be a sight to see. But overall, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know your predictions as far as who's going to win the Super Bowl. Be well, stay safe, and let's see what all happens tomorrow when the dust settles and when the final score is on the board, the dust settles, the confetti starts to fall, and the final score is upon us, and one team's gonna be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy over their head, and the other team's gonna be going home a loser. So overall, let me know what you guys think. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And have yourselves a great night. Hopefully you enjoy the Super Bowl. And I'll see you when I see you, talk to you when I talk to you, and whenever the next time comes that I make a video. I don't know when it'll be or what it'll be about, but as soon as it comes up, you guys will be the first to know. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourselves a great night. And that's about it. So take care.